everyone. Welcome in.
Definitely. Welcome, everyone. Thanks for joining.
Thank you for being very prompt and on time today. Okay, I know we have a start at 11 o'clock. We're going to wait until around 11:02, 11:03 to get started, just to make sure we have as many people here as possible. But it seems like we have a great turnout already. Honestly, maybe 11:02 we can get started. It seems like we have a good amount.
Yep.
So thank you all again for being here on time. We will officially get started around 11:02. So grab a glass of water, coffee,
Yes.
whatever you need.
While we're waiting until 11:02, please drop in the chat where you're from. If you're operating pre-startup, if you have a location, anything in mind, we would love to, hear where you guys are from and a little bit about yourselves. So please drop in the chat. I'll be looking forward to seeing exactly where you guys are from. Brooklyn, okay, Travis.
Jasmine, this event will not be recorded, but slides will be sent out.
Oh, good morning. Good morning, Lewis. Morning. The Bronx. Okay, Lewis is from the Bronx.
Yes, please go ahead, drop your location in the chat. If you're an operating business, if so, if you even have a license, what you guys currently do in the industry. And if you're pre-startup too, that is perfectly okay, and we welcome you all.
Okay, Bronx looking for a license. Brooklyn, okay. No Queens? We will be accepting Q&A at the end of the presentation, so I see someone just raised their hand, Jasmine. Please give us until after the presentation where we allow you guys to take the floor and speak.
Oh, Jasmine is from Queens, though. I see in her Q&A.
Oh, okay. Jasmine raised her hand for Queens.
Saying that's me.
Gotcha.
But again, Jasmine, for the question you mentioned, this event is not recorded, but slides will be sent out as a follow-up after the session.
Okay, Queens. Perfect. Type 3 branding license acquired. Okay, Manhattan, EJ. This is really great.
Thank you guys for sharing. It is 11:02. I know we have a good amount of you here right now, which is awesome. Thank you again for being on time. I'm going to pop up our slides for today. And before we jump into all of our great cannabis information, we're going to do a little introduction on New York City Small Business Services and all the services we offer. All right. Okay. So jumping in, hi everyone, my name is Emily and I am the Cannabis Account Manager at the Lower Manhattan Business Solution Center. And I have here with me Keon, who is the Cannabis Account Manager at the Queens Business Solution Center. Now, the Business Solution Centers, also known as the BSCs, are part of New York City Small Business Services, or NYC SBS. And there are 7 different Business Solution Centers in the city. So there's 3 in Manhattan, 1 in every other borough, and essentially all of the BSCs offer the resources listed on this slide here. So I'll walk a little bit through it. Starting off, we have business courses. So that's kind of like the one you're attending here today. These are generally virtual as well as in person at your local BSC. They can cover a wide variety of different topics, from starting up your business to receiving financing for your business, legal support, and tons of different marketing courses. And on a quarterly basis, we're always developing new courses with partners we have, whether it's a financial lender, whether it's a cannabis attorney, which actually will be coming up next month. We'll be having a partner course with a cannabis attorney, as well as a whole bunch of other courses that seem relevant and useful to the business owners in our area. These are generally on our Eventbrite page, so if you want to stay up to date with courses that are happening that month, the Eventbrite page will offer all of those different courses and allow you to register directly from there. We can drop that in the chat later in this session. But that's business courses. From there, we also have legal assistance. So all of the different BSCs have legal assistance. The legal account manager has access to different pro bono attorneys in the area. So if you're looking to either maybe sign a commercial lease or choose a legal structure for your business or need assistance in actually getting that legal structure created, or even having a contract reviewed. This is something that our attorneys can assist with. And if you want to get connected to them, you can go through the BSCs through the legal account manager. We also have financial assistance. So this is through our finance account manager. They also have access to a network of different traditional banks in the area, but even CDFIs, which are community-based financial institutions. Essentially, if you are looking to seek capital for your business, maybe a small business loan, they'll do all the heavy lifting for you. They'll talk you through what your current financial status is, maybe what your personal credit score is, how much revenue you're currently making in your business, how much money you're looking to get in a loan. And from there, they will give you a list of different lending opportunities that are best fit for you. And they'll actually help you have an introduction to the lender and actually help you through that underwriting loan application process. We also have incentives. This is through our industrial providers. So especially if you're maybe in a manufacturing, construction type of business, you may be able to have some tax advantages through incentives. If this is something you're interested in learning a bit more about, we can pass you along to our industrial providers account manager who knows a lot more. We also have navigating government. So especially if you are looking to open a new storefront, or if you just need some information on navigating the licenses and permits of the city, our partner NYC Best, which is the New York City Business Express service team, can really help you out. First off, they have small business advocates that can help you decide which licenses and permits you need to open your business. They also have site inspectors that can go on site to your brick and mortar building and actually walk through and double check that your business is compliant with the city and won't receive any fines or violations. They're really there just to educate you that they themselves are not going to give out any fines or violations. They're there to let you know that you're in compliance with the city. We also have recruitment and training. This is through our partner Workforce One. So if you're looking to hire new staff for either a new location or if you're expanding your current business, especially generally it's entry-level staff, they can do a lot of the heavy lifting for you by actually hosting job fairs, recruiting new candidates, hosting the interviews, and finally giving out that offer letter. Or if you're even looking to train up some of your employee on different either machines or different skills, then they have some reimbursements that may help as well. They have some training grants. So if you wanted to inquire a bit more about that, Workforce One can share more. We also have selling to government and MWBE certification. So MWBE certification is the Minority Woman Business Enterprise certification. Essentially, if your business is operating for at least 1 year and 51% owned by a woman or a minority, this certification will help you get government contracts and ultimately sell to the government. So having the government be your client, essentially. If that's something you wanted to learn a bit more about, we also have a partner, Apex Accelerator, which is an expert in the government contracting space. They can teach you how to best position yourself as a vendor to the city, and then help you actually receive some contracts. With the MWB certification, what I'll add is that the city is actually required to give 30% of their contracts to MWBE certified businesses. So if you knew you wanted to do government contracts, that really gives you a leg up in the bidding for those contracts because it puts you on that priority list for them to really give out that 30%. So if any of these things are interesting to you, we'll have a QR code at the end for you to actually get connected to those services. Moving forward, I'll pass it along to Keon.
Yes, so this is a little bit more about recruitment. We have a service line here for recruitment for anyone that is interested in hiring a working staff. We partner with Workforce One, where you simply just fill out an intake form, be vetted, and then you'll be filtering out exactly what type of employees you are filtering out for. And then, of course, they'll go on, the traditional platforms such as Indeed and things in that nature. So if you're interested in that as well, please feel free to, I think there's a QR code that is on the next slide, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, no, it's not. Well, we have thousands of QR codes. So one of these QR codes will lead you to a direct intake form where you can schedule a consultation and be vetted for recruitment if you are operating or plan to be operating soon. Here's a next slide of our personal financial service line where we help with building credit, saving and reducing debt, a little bit with financial planning as well. So a lot of times, typically, people struggle with financing due to their personal credit and savings and things in that nature. We help with OFE, our service line, where we can reduce those type of things and put you in a better position to access capital. So scanning this QR code will allow you to set on a one-on-one consultation with one of our OFE reps, and we can discuss exactly focus going financial planning to help you improve your personal financing. And then NYC's Fund Finder is really great as well. This is for small business that are looking to access capital. So once you get past the OFE, or if you are not in need of improving your personal side of things, or if you also already have business credit built up, I'm sorry, I'm reading this conversation below. If you're not pulled up here, please scan this QR code, and this will allow you to take you to the NYC's Fund Finder platform, which is really great. It shows you all our financial partnerships, all our financial products through the financial institutions that we partner with through every business solution center in the city. So please take advantage of this as well. There's another pilot program called My Finance Coach, where you can speak to licensed financial advisors, CFOs, and you could go over different things as far as setting up a financial projection sheet, separating personal from business, coming up with tax strategies, understanding financial documents. These are really great and put you in a better position to actually be eligible to receive working capital. So please take advantage of that. That program lasts all the way until the end of December. You'll be able to have about up to five sessions, an hour each, and it'll be great, especially when you're trying to access capital and you have you don't have any paper trail of cash flow. So a lot of times these financial institutions would love to see a financial projection sheet, and this is a great program that allows you and also has a third party that can help you create those type of documentations. And then this is a little bit of our course pathway. Ideally, we would love everyone to start at course 1, but everyone is at their different stages of opening or possibly already operating a business. So as you can see here, we do the introduction to entrepreneurship, from operator to operations to financial management, of course, and then we go to legal. And then you get to the next slide. We also go over marketing strategies, from creating your own websites to email marketing to social media marketing presence. So please take advantage of this. All of these courses will be in our Eventbrite, the same Eventbrite that you used to register for this course. You can go on that page and you will see upcoming courses. I want to say 90% of our courses are via Zoom, like you're doing today, but we do have a few in person that we like that are hosted at each center. I know someone in the chat asked, just a quick question I seen here, where are the offices located? So we do have a business solution center in each of the 5 boroughs. So depending on where you're located at, it's just a quick Google search. I don't know exactly the exact address for each location. I know for Queens, we're located on 9027 Suffolk Boulevard. For Lower Manhattan, it's on 14th Wall Street. But if you are not in those locations, I don't know where Brooklyn's at exactly, and I don't know where Washington Heights office and Staten Island, those nature. So you just have to do a quick Google search to find that address. But there are a business solution center located in each borough. And then this is just to connect to all our service lines. So Emily went over everything as far as what we offer, from courses to legal assistance to finances to recruitment to accessing the MWBE application and things of that nature. Thank you. I appreciate that. 9 Bound Street is where the Brooklyn Business Solution Center is. So I thank you, Eli, for that. This QR code allows you to take us to our intake form. You'll fill out a few questions, and then you'll be able to set a one-on-one consultation with one of our account managers, and then we can, go into depth exactly what you're inquiring about and see how we can outsource our resources to you.
Okay. With that, we're going to toss up a quick poll. So if you've ever come to any of our sessions before, generally we have a question of the month. So this is our August question of the month. As we approach holiday season, how is your business preparing? We really like to gather this information essentially to see what is happening real time with the business owners we work with. And based on that information, we try to come up with different resources or webinars that are going to be most useful for you all. So it's really helpful to hear your real-time feedback. If you can take the quick minute or so that I'll leave this up to answer this question. I
Definitely.
know someone asked for the links to be sent. Keon, if you can go ahead and just toss the Eventbrite links for both the Lower Manhattan and Queens Eventbrite, I think that would be great. So people
Perfect. Will do.
can take a look at those courses. But again, I'll leave this up for about 30 seconds, 1 minute. Thank you for those of you who have already answered. But please answer our question of the month poll that just popped up on your screen. If it didn't pop up,
Yes.
you can usually click more and find quizzes and polls and it'll pop up.
We have a lot of people in here attending, so I would love to try to get in that 80% as far as participation, because that just gives us more data on exactly how we can improve our services for you guys. This first link is to the Queens Business Solution Center events bright page for our courses. So please be on the lookout for that. Sending this to the chat.
And just so you know, for courses, you can really attend any course at any location. Doesn't mean only the Queens folks can attend the Queens courses. The one thing to note is if it's in person and it's a Queens course, you'll have to go to the Queens office. And if it's a Lower Manhattan in-person event, you'll be going to the office in Lower Manhattan. But the ones on Zoom, again, open to everybody. Okay, we'll give it about 10 more seconds. If you can go ahead and participate on the August question of the month that popped up on your screen, that would be greatly appreciated, and we love to hear your feedback. Okay. I will end the poll here. Share results really quickly. It seems like a lot of people are seeking additional financing or working capital, as well as expanding marketing or promotional campaigns. And some people don't have any holiday-related preparations. So that is great to hear. And thank you all so much again for participating. Okay. As Keon looks for that Eventbrite link for Lower Manhattan, I will go ahead and get us started into today's course. So this is our agenda for the day. We're going to talk through the partners and resources we have at Cannabis NYC and through the Business Solution Centers, specifically for our cannabis partners. We'll also talk through the current licensing landscape. I know we saw in the chat that some of you already have a Type 3 branding license, but some of you are still looking for a license. So we'll talk through what licenses are available right now, as well as which ones were available in the past, and just what the current situation and makeup of New York City cannabis looks like. From there, we'll talk about the OCM website. So OCM is the Office of Cannabis Management. They are really the ones that we are all beholden to. They're the ones that come up with the licenses each year, and if there's going to be new ones that come out. So the website is a wealth of resource, but can sometimes be a little confusing to navigate what's actually hidden on that website. So we'll talk through what you can find there. As well as cannabis legal entity formation, what legal entities are best for a starting cannabis business, and other news. So this is our agenda for the day. I do want to put out a quick disclaimer. So for those of you that are already licensed or know the industry pretty well, this course today is going to be pretty general and very intro to cannabis. That's why it's a Cannabis 101 course. So if you already really know what Type 3 branding license is, what the Type 3 branding license is, or you already know about the current landscape of cannabis, this may be just repetitive information for you. So I just want to put that out as a disclaimer. If you are currently on a wait list, I know someone mentioned that they're on the December queue waiting for the license. We will not be able to give any updates here on this because that is really with OCM, which is the Office of Cannabis Management. They're the ones that are actually approving licenses. We are not on that back end at all. So if you wanted to get an update on that queue, one thing to know is that the December queue, they are going to start looking at in January of next year. So there is still a wait. And I know there's already been a 2-year wait. But if you wanted information, you can always check your application. That will have the status there, as well as emailing OCM. I think there's an info@ocm.nyc.gov email. It should be somewhere on the website. So that's a little bit of information on that. But again, this course today is really geared towards those intro pre-startup cannabis businesses that are just looking to learn a little bit more. Yes, so if you have no idea how to start, then this is exactly the place you should be.
Yeah, and I see a few questions here. We will get to them at the end
Yeah.
of this presentation. So I love that people are putting them in the chat. They will be answered. I don't want you guys to think. I see Jamel here, David. We will be answering these questions during the Q&A. We just want to get through this presentation really quick.
Okay, so let's jump into it. Starting off with our partners and resources. So at the Business Solution Centers, our big goal with Cannabis NYC is just trying to provide some useful information for you all because it is a very new industry, but one that's definitely growing, but one that is definitely hard to keep up with just because there's so much ongoing with it. So slowly we've been building up our partnerships within the cannabis industry, starting with Can Delta. So this is a cannabis consultant that we hosted some webinars with last year, or sorry, earlier this year, and we definitely will be hosting more sessions with them as this year goes on. The CEO, Lucas McCann, is a wealth of knowledge and really knows the ins and outs of what you can currently do in the cannabis industry. So this is a partner that if you either want to get connected with them or learn a little bit more from them, we're going to host webinars with them in the coming months. Through them, they also know BioTrack. So BioTrack is pretty new within cannabis right now. Essentially, with cannabis, you can't go across state lines. Everything needs to be locally grown and made. So BioTrack is really there to help the seed to sale tracking, essentially going from the seed of cultivating the cannabis plant to actually getting it into stores. They have a whole new system on how to track it to ensure that the cannabis made in New York stays in New York. Cannabis NYC, of course, is what we are part of, but also part of the NYC SBS team that is connected with the Office of Cannabis Management. So we have a lot of connections within this realm. Again, we ourselves do not work for the Office of Cannabis Management. This is the New York State level cannabis institution that decides what licenses are being created, who can actually apply for them. They're the ones approving the cannabis licenses on wait list. They're the ones that really determine all the laws and regulations here, and we're really here just to support and be a resource for questions you might have around OCM. So we'll spend a big portion of today talking about what resources OCM really offers, as well as how we can get you connected with them. We also have, of course, our connections to NYC SBS. Namely, they have a fast track program that's specifically tailored to cannabis. So if you want to go through kind of a boot camp on starting a cannabis business, Fast Track is a really great place to start. I believe it's 8 weeks long. You usually start with a cohort, and they'll talk you through really the business basics of business planning, choosing legal structure, to actually having and hosting sessions with different cannabis partners so that you can learn more about the industry. So these happen on, I think, a monthly or a couple monthly basis. They always have a new cohort. So if this is something you're interested in getting to be a part of, you can definitely reach out to Kiana and I, and we have connections within SBS to get you into the next cohort. We also have Valley Bank, which is a banking institution that does do banking for cannabis. Recently, we hosted a session with Canna Coverage, which is an insurance firm that does cannabis insurance, essentially, especially for dispensaries. SEEN has someone named Tavian Crossland, who is also very connected with SBS and cannabis within SBS. And then lastly, we have Jeffrey Hoffman, who is a cannabis attorney, who we actually are hosting sessions with next month. We have 2 dates in the calendar, so we'll talk a bit more about him at the end of today's session. But again, we are building up these partners and resources. We're building up these webinars to really provide you guys with more information on the industry from the experts that really understand it.
Got it. Yeah. And are you going over this one, Emily? Or I'll take over this one? Yeah. So I'll take over this one. This is the processor type 3. This is the license that is currently available for the adult use cannabis license. So anyone that is interested in the white labeling aspect of the cannabis industry or is interested in getting that space, this is the license that you should be applying for today. This allows the licensee to enter a white labeling agreement with licensed cannabis processors who can manufacture the brand's cannabis products. This does not allow the cannabis plant as far as touching activity. So you cannot touch any of the products. This is strictly only white labeling. So we have a great example with Lululemon, if I'm understanding correctly, where they white label yoga mats. So strictly, they buy plain yoga mats from a wholesale distributor and they just put their brand on it. That's exactly what the type 3 branding license is. It's you creating a brand and putting it on products and collaborating with processors that can package those things, and processors are the ones that are allowed to touch the product. So once they process it, and then you can put your white labeling brand on it, then you can have agreements and start selling them to dispensaries and different aspects of the industry. Oh yeah, and different service types in the cannabis industry as well. So this is one of the licenses that are available. This is the license that has been open the longest, as you can see. But this is a sleeper. I tell a lot of people that are interested in the dispensary and the micro business, this is really the sleeper because it's really cost efficient as far as low cost efficient as far as starting up, and as well as it allows you to get in the cannabis space and create a brand for yourself. So if you guys are familiar with like brands like Supreme or things of that nature, you can kind of get into that space of creating a brand for yourself, and then possibly later down the road when they open up new license, you can pivot and expand your type of cannabis business.
I just want to jump in quickly and really emphasize this. So anyone who's really looking to enter the cannabis industry but has no license right now, this is really the only one available to you. That's not going to be the case forever. They are looking to open new ones in the future, but it is limiting in the sense that you can't touch the cannabis plant, so you can't grow it, you can't actually extract it or turn it into a product. But like Keon said, the main goal here is you can actually create a brand and think of yourself as the marketer for the business. It really helps here if you have a lot of connections, if you're connected with a processor and also connected with retail dispensaries in the area, and if you have almost like a following, if you are able to build this strong brand and get people excited about a product, that's the main value of the type 3 branding license. And then from there you have the different connections, the network of the processor, cultivator, retail dispensary people to actually help you create the product you want and then sell the product in stores. So that's something to really, really note about cannabis right now. If you wanted to enter the industry and you have no license, this is your one option. But if you really, really are set on cultivating or really set on opening a dispensary, it's kind of a waiting game at this point to see when those licenses are available again, because they currently are still working through the wait list of applicants from 2 years ago. So we'll talk a little bit more now about the previous licenses.
Yeah, and I see you, EJ. These questions will be answered at the end. We just want to make sure we get through everything. So this is the next slide here is for previous license. So these are licenses that were in the past that are currently closed. Just an overview. Of course, everyone's favorite, the dispensary license. This gives you access. So this is a brick and mortar location. This is a retail location. This is the places that you see here, when you're driving or walking that are licensed. These are where consumers can come in and actually buy products. So that's the dispensary license. The micro business license is pretty cool as well. This allows you to do multiple things as far as grow your own cannabis, as well as package your own cannabis, as well as sell your own cannabis in a certain radius of your area of where you're located at. So the micro business, that's a sleeper. A lot of people are not aware about the micro business. That's one of my favorites as well. It allows you to do pretty much everything from each of the other ones that I'm about to go to in your own scale. And then you have the cultivator. That's the one that allows to grow and cut the plant, or as far as farming in that nature, and then as well as the processor. The processor is the one that extracts the cannabis from the plant, and that goes into edibles, that goes into drinks, anything in that nature. I know a lot of people are interested in I've been hearing a lot like cannabis sodas or cannabis drinks. That really falls under the processor. So once you get that license, you're allowed to do those things, and then you're allowed to partner with cultivators and distributors to get your products onto the shelves as well. And then the distribution license is pretty good. That is the one that carries the product from the processor to the dispensaries. Once you get the distribution license, you're kind of like that last mile, kind of similar to Amazon, where you are transferring the products from the cultivators and the processors to the actual retail dispensary stores. And then the adult use retail, I apologize. The first one was the card license, which was closed a long, long time ago. You guys know what happened with that lawsuit. That was I want to say the beginning of 2020 into 2021, where they have the card license. The adult retail dispensary license, that's the one that is fairly new. They reopened that one at the beginning of 2023, where a lot of you guys are still in queue, unfortunately. But they work hand in hand. They're the same license. They just switched the name from the card license. I think that's the conditional adult use to adult use retail dispensary. So they're the same. They work as the same as well.
Okay, so moving on, we're going to talk a bit more about the OCM website and the Office of Cannabis Management in general. So the website is a wealth of information. As we said, they're really the ones that are coming up with all of the different rules and regulations around cannabis in New York State, and it's a state level organization. So with the website, we're going to walk through, later on we'll actually look at the website and see where the licensing information is, because they have a little bit more detailed information on each license. We'll also talk a bit about the control board meetings, so the benefit of those when they are actually occurring. We'll talk about proximity data. So this is how to actually find an eligible lease for your business. So especially if you are about to maybe get the retail dispensary license and you're looking for a lease for that location, they have a great tool on the website that can help you. We're going to talk about social and economic equity, also known as SEE, how that's beneficial, how you can qualify, and then banking solutions that are also incorporated onto that website page for OCM. And then quickly we'll talk through medical cannabis and hemp. So jumping into the cannabis board meetings, so these happen on a monthly basis. If anyone has attended them in the past, they used to come up very last minute. The week before, they would let us know that the board meetings are happening. But the new kind of board member now is giving us the dates in advance. So these are the upcoming dates for the board meetings. Some of them are going to be in upstate New York, but some of them are in Manhattan, and typically I think they're in Midtown when they're being hosted. Typically I think they'll give the date leading up to the event. So the next one closer to the city is going to be October 9th. But essentially this is where they'll give updates on who has gotten off the wait list for different licenses. They'll give you an updated number, as well as any big kind of lawsuits that are happening around cannabis, general updates of what's happening within the industry. So there's a lot of good information here, and on the board meetings page you'll actually see usually a slide deck, a recording, and notes on all of the previous board meetings. So this is a good place to get real-time information on what's actually happening with OCM, and they do host these monthly, and it's open to the public so people can opt in and see. And if you ever have any things, I've talked to people in the past where there's complaints, of course, things have not been rolled out the most smoothly. This is kind of a way where you can actually get to someone face to face, maybe not during the session, but before, after. Kind of first off, it's a great place to network, meet other cannabis business owners who are maybe experiencing similar things to you, but also getting face to face with someone from OCM, and you can share your story of, hey, this is what I've experienced. I'm a little dissatisfied because of these reasons. It's open to the public, and I think they really want to hear from the public. So these board meetings are something to keep an eye on, and if you really wanted to hear again about those real-time OCM updates, or even have interaction with OCM or other dispensary owners, this is a great location to really do that networking and conversing. As I mentioned, so proximity data, if you're looking to find a lease for a dispensary, if you're maybe like on the wait list to receive the dispensary license, or you've already received it and you're looking for a location, this local map is a really, really useful tool. One, it can help you just find legal dispensaries in your area, but also it's pretty nifty in the fact that it will show you where all these relevant locations are. So there's a couple of rules when it comes to picking a dispensary location. One is all dispensaries must be at least 1,000 feet apart. They also must be at least 200 feet away from houses of worship, and that's measured door to door, so front door to front door of the house of worship to the dispensary. And a new rule, which Keon will talk more about in other news at the end of the slides, is that dispensaries must be 500 feet from schools, but instead of door to door, it's door to the nearest school property line. So depending on how large the school is, that can be a little bit more limiting. This is starting to impact some people that already have a license. They are hoping to have some funds go out to help people who are affected by this. Again, Keon will talk about this more later in the slides, but these are some general rules to keep in mind. If you're thinking about opening a dispensary location, you need to make sure that you are in compliance with these rules. The local map, which I'll show you later on the website, provides a really easy way to search this up. You would put in a location, and then from there, it'll actually show you what places of worship are nearby and give you an actual distance, whether it's maybe 190 feet from a house of worship or if it's 300 feet, so you kind of know whether or not it's going to be compliant with OCM. So we'll look at this a little bit more in a later, after we get through these slides, but that's just something to keep in mind.
Yeah, and then this is the C, social economic equity. This is basically for people or individuals that were heavily impacted on the war on drugs, lived in an area that was heavily impacted on the war on drugs, served time was incarcerated due to the fact of an arrest of marijuana. And then, of course, minority-owned businesses, women-owned businesses, distressed farmers. So if you are, I think if you're a financial gross for a distressed farmer would have to be something besides under $500,000. And then if you were a disabled or served in our military, then you are approved as a C applicant. And the C applicant is really great because you get discounts on the license and application fee. So if you guys are familiar, if anyone that applied in December, on the December Q or in 2023, there was application fee of $1,000. And then once the license is rewarded to you, then you will have to pay an additional fee, and that fee varies from different licenses. But if you are a C applicant, then you get a discount of 50% off. So the application fee will be dropped from $1,000 to $500, and then once you receive the license fee will be dropped from 50% off as well. So that's something that people should be aware of. If you think that you are or possibly eligible to be a C applicant, then once you apply, they'll give you an option to see if you are eligible. You will have to submit some documentation as far as where you lived. You have to show some proof of if you're a women-owned business, if you're a minority-owned business, if you are impacted from the past of any cannabis enforcement or anything in that nature. So how will people with disabilities in general, would they fall under the MWBE? I'm going to answer that question at the end. I'm sorry, I gotta remove this chat because I keep wandering eyes over there. But yeah, so that is for the C applicants, which is really great. I'm praying that they update it for the next go round. But this is really great right now. This is the information that we have for right now for C applicants.
I'll just add quickly. So yeah, this is not something you have to opt into in advance. So unlike MWBE, where you have to apply for that certification, this is basically part of the license application. It'll ask you if you're a C applicant, and you just say yes or no, and then from there they might ask for documentation.
Yeah, you have to submit some documentation, and then it will automatically be reduced at the end when you're submitting the application fee. Okay, so cannabis banking. This is everyone's favorite because, of course, cannabis is still illegal under the federal level. So banking and finding, capital for the cannabis industry is extremely challenging. There are some banks that are friendly with the cannabis industry, but as far as lending out, that is still a challenge. We do have some lenders. I don't know if you guys are familiar. I think it's on the next slide. Let's see here. We do have some cannabis-friendly banking institutions, as far as Valley Bank. They do not give out any type of working capital, but they do allow you to create a business banking relationship with them, as far as setting up a business bank account, because you cannot do that with a TD Bank or a Chase or anything in that nature. Anything on the cannabis, since it's not approved on a federal level, you cannot open up a business bank account with those traditional banks. And then Ponte Bank is really great as well. They do help with business checking, with pre-license and license operation, but once again, they do not lend out to the cannabis industry. So that's one thing that people have to be aware of. They do not lend out to any cannabis businesses as well. And then the National Bank here, they do they do lend out to cannabis industry. So if you are interested in it, and when I say they lend out, they do lend out as far as equipment financing. You must be operating. It is certain criteria that need to be met. So I would love for you guys to sit down and have a one-on-one consultation with myself or Emily if you are interested, or if you think you are in position to receive any type of funding. Yes, you got Michelle. We will be sending out these slides, and we'll be contacting you guys if you are interested in these slides. So please be on the lookout for that. But National Bank does entertain loaning out to cannabis businesses. You just have to meet certain criteria, and those criteria are challenging for a lot of people that are in the pre-startup stage or operating with limited collateral or assets, because that's the one thing that they're going to harp on as far as determining how much capital you can receive. And then additional, this is just what to expect and the type of documentation that are needed. Of course, you're going to need that business plan. That's why I harped on at the very beginning to use that NYC's Fund Finder platform to set up a consultation with some of our financial advisors to set up a business plan. You're going to need that owner and partner background check, financial statements if you have any. And then you're going to make sure that the security and compliance protocol is all up to par. So those are the things that are required when it comes to banking. And then, of course, cannabis, I don't know if you guys are familiar, the monthly fees are extremely higher because the industry is fairly new, so a lot of banks don't have a lot of history on how well the market is for cannabis. So the monthly fees for accounts are higher than the standard business account. Additional charges for cash handling and compliance reporting will be involved as well. So that's one thing that you have to be aware of. I would love to sit down, Emily and I, if you have time to do a one-on-one consultation with us. We can get more into depth because everyone is different. A lot of people are in that still pre-startup stage, still haven't received a license, but they're looking for capital, and that is extremely challenging. So I would love to sit down and we can get more into depth with people in those situations. But if you are operating as well, we would love to sit down as well, because we do have some options for you as far as accessing capital. Will it be that $100,000? To be transparent with you, likely not, but there is opportunities for you, and it's just all depending on what you guys can uphold to. So I would love the guys to connect with us later in the future about that. And, the, and then the Cannabis Loan Fund. So the Cannabis Loan Fund was for card licensees. So these are people that were not in the adult use queue or the adult use license. This is for the people that were in the 2021, 2020 era. They had a cannabis loan fund that was a pool of about $2 million. And these were for card holders, people that that held the card license, and they were only for retail. So they were the people that were already card holders, retail holders, and they gave out, currently there are 7 loans. They were all $100,000 each. They have closed, and that was just for the remaining phase 1. They will be doing another phase, of course, for the adult use license. That has not been announced. They're still currently working on trying to give access capital to the card holders. But for the adult use, people that are in that December queue, people that are holding an adult use retail license, you guys are up in queue as far as in the future for receiving some type of cannabis loan fund. So please be on the lookout with that. That's just continuing to check our emails that we send out to you guys, staying in touch with us, because once we get feedback that is open for the adult use, we're going to be shooting that information out to you guys right away. So please stay close and pay attention to anything that comes from us from the email.
Okay, so there's also other options. So because adult use is a little bit limited right now, just having that type 3 branding license available, there is more flexibility if you're interested in medical cannabis or cannabinoid hemp. So for medical cannabis, there's an entire page dedicated to that on the OCM website. I do know that there is a research license if you're interested in kind of researching uses for cannabis in the medical space, as well as how to actually become a medical cannabis provider. So that it requires some educational courses to actually be able to be a provider for that. So Again, that website will include a lot more information on medical cannabis if that's something you're interested in. Alternatively, there's also cannabinoid hemp. So, unlike adult use cannabis, where right now you can't really get a new license to grow or process cannabis or sell it in a store, hemp is a different case. So, there is a hemp grower license where you can grow and cultivate hemp seeds. From there, there's also the processor license. There's both the extracting and manufacturing one, as well as just the manufacturing only one. So either allowing you just to use hemp flower products, or to actually extract the hemp flower products and turn it into something different, like a gummy or maybe a vape from it. So processor license, they do have a couple more options there. And there also is a retail permit. So right now you're also able to sell cannabinoid hemp products in a retail store. There's both the temporary one and the distributor one as well. So actually distributing it to the different stores, or having a temporary retail permit. I think that means, like it sounds, is just maybe selling it at a flea market for a stall versus having a brick and mortar store. So again, if adult use cannabis is too limiting for you right now, but you're still interested in the industry, these are two alternative ways for you to kind of crack into the industry and have more flexibility in what you're doing, because all of these licenses are still available. Okay, so we're going to go through, I believe, this really quickly. Okay, so we have the legal entity formation. So if you're interested in starting a business in general, but especially going into the cannabis world, you're going to have these general main types of legal entities. So again, this kind of applies to any business, but I'll talk through which ones are best for cannabis businesses in particular. So sole proprietorship is your easiest business to form. In this scenario, you and your business are one and the same. So the business is essentially connected to you as a person. What this means is it's really easy to set up. It's pretty easy and inexpensive to set up. You just have to file one document with the county clerks. It's generally $100, and you pick the business name that you want to operate under. But the issue here is it's a lot more risky because your personal assets are completely tied to your business. So say the business got sued somehow, all of your personal assets would be liable. So especially given a risky business like cannabis, where it isn't federally legal yet, a sole proprietorship really isn't a great idea if you're looking to start a cannabis business, because again, it would be way too tied up with you and your personal finances. And if anything were to go down with the business, that it would be pretty risky in general. So really, one of the best options for a cannabis business is an LLC, especially a newly started cannabis business. And also this really counts for other businesses as well. But an LLC is also known as a limited liability company. So this basically offers the protection that a corporation may give you. So you and your business are no longer tied together the way it is with sole proprietorship. Your business entity is one entirely separate thing. So if the business were to get sued, the business itself, those assets would be looked at versus your own stuff. Also provides some ideal taxation, so it has some great tax benefits to it, and it's a little bit easier to form compared to a corporation. So an LLC is a typical option that newly started cannabis businesses will look to create. But if you're looking to grow a little bit, you might want to do a corporation. There's an S Corp and a C Corp. The S Corp is more for mid-sized businesses. It allows for pass-through profits, which essentially is a little bit more ideal in terms of your taxes. It allows you to bypass any corporate taxes. So this is good for, again, those like mid-sized cannabis firms. But if you're looking to be a really big cannabis firm, or even try to get investors for your business, the C Corp would be the best way to go. So there is double taxation here because there's the corporate tax included, but there's a little bit less restrictions that the S Corp provides, which allows it to be allow you to raise capital for your business or get investors for your business a bit more easier. So if that's something you're interested in actually starting and you kind of wanted to learn a bit more about it, you can definitely get connected with Kiana and I, because we can pass you along to our legal services. Or you can actually talk to an attorney who will in a lot more detail describe the difference between each legal entity and which one makes the most sense for the business you're forming.
Yeah, and then other news, this is fairly new. As you guys can see that The Office of Cannabis Management has issued guidance for licensee who propose business locations conflict with the cannabis law. That is with the proximity. Uh, with the proximities locations. So just long story short, basically, you know, cannabis has updated. Typically, what Emily went over in the previous slide, that it used to be with the schools that was door to door. Now it is door to property line. So cannabis management has switched it up and saying that if you are failed to address and relocate, unfortunately, then you possibly could result in losing your license. So this is anyone that is already operating. If you know anyone that is operating, they received a license from the OCM about their location in the school, please have them reach out. We could possibly set up a consultation. But the most important thing is they do need to be in touch as far as updating their location information and getting in touch with OCM about verifying if they are okay with their location. OCM has released some type of loan fund that gives the ability for people that are needing to relocate up to $100,000. So please feel free, if you know anyone that is already operating and is in that situation, please have them reach out and we can connect them to the right people.
So what I'm asking.
And then this is just a little more of just a chart. Of course, you guys will be sent. This is really great because has information on how to contact OCM. So if you see at the far bottom here, OCM contact, these are really great for the adult use licensing. A lot of times we get contact information from people asking, hey, I applied in December, what's going on with my application? Or hey, OCM reached out to me, I sent back information and they never respond. These are the email addresses that you can contact them. The top one is for licensing and the bottom one is for location. And this is just who is it impacted by. These are impacted by the license holders. So anyone that is located in that area that is already operating or that is currently in the startup stage of operating, they do need to pay attention and possibly need to relocate or close. You can move on to the slide. I kind of went over it from the end. And then Emily's just going to show you exactly how to navigate the OCM website. So we're going to share a screen here. And she's going to take you to the URL page where she's going to show you exactly all the information that we talked about, where to find it, where to access it. They go over previous license. They go over the proximity map, how to access the proximity map, and things of that nature. Please, in the bottom of this website, on your free time, please click and subscribe to their newsletter, and you'll get live updates with OCM as well.
Okay, I know we are coming down to our last few minutes of the session. I definitely want to have a quick Q&A at the end.
Yes.
We can definitely stay on for an extra 5 to 10. So I'm going to quickly walk you through the OCM website because really there's a lot of good information here if you're curious about anything we spoke about today. So the Office of Cannabis Management website is cannabis.ny.gov. If you Google search it, it'll pop up. If you wanted more information on that proximity rule change, it's going to be the first thing you see, and from here it will navigate you to that local map that I mentioned earlier. I found that the link is kind of hidden here, but maybe I wasn't looking carefully enough. But if you scroll down, you'll see local map. And when you click on this is a great way for you to actually see what dispensary locations might work for you if you're in that phase. It first off shows you all the legal dispensaries in the area. But if you were looking at a lease and you wanted to see if it would work for your dispensary, so I'm just using, for example, 14 Wall Street, which is the Lower Manhattan SBS office, you'll actually see that there is a cannabis license pending really close by. So that's under the 1,000 feet rule. So that probably won't work if this license gets approved. So that's one thing to note. And then there's places of worship. Again, the minimum for places of worship is 200 feet. So these are all good over 200 feet, so that's no problem. In terms of schools, again, this is from door to nearest property line of the school. It needs to be minimum 500 feet. This one is less than that, so that's something to note. Of course, this is just something to help you out, but you should probably go and actually verify this information yourself because OCM will do a very thorough search when you actually are choosing a lease. And yes, so this is basically a really great tool if you are looking to, again, find a location that works for a retail dispensary. Um, Besides this, there's also, as Keon mentioned, the sign up link at the bottom of the screen to sign up for email updates. This is really great for you to know real time what is happening with OCM, if there's a cannabis board meeting coming up, if there's new licenses coming up. Really, they're going to be the first to know. And from there, of course, once Keon and I figure out, we'll send out our own e-blasts. But again, we are beholden to OCM at the end of the day. Adult use, all the information is in this tab. There's good information on the licensing page. This is where you'll actually find the application for the Type 3 branding license, as well as all of the old licenses. They'll have the queues listed. And they'll also give you information on these licenses. So if you wanted to see in the past how these licenses worked, this is good to take a look at, see how much it cost, what that license required back in the day. Social and economic equity is also on this tab. This is what Keon was mentioning to get a discount on your license. You can qualify for SEE status. But what is really great on here is that there is a banking solutions portion of the website where you can scroll and see a lot more banking institutions that weren't listed on our slides, as well as what services they offer. So some of them you'll see offer limited lending. A lot of them do just general cash management services. Some of them do some merchant services as well if you do have a store. So all of this information is listed on the SEE, Social Economic Equity page of the website.
Yes.
And you can scroll through and get all that contact info as well.
Definitely.
Medical cannabis, like we mentioned, good information here if you wanted to become a provider, if you wanted to be get a research license. And then cannabinoid hemp is a tab over here, which has all the different licenses. So that's a super quick overview of the website. And before we get into Q&A, the last thing that I wanted to share is that we do have an upcoming course in September with our cannabis attorney, Jeffrey Hoffman. He is a wealth of knowledge. He really, really knows a lot about the legal cannabis space in New York State. He himself has a really big following on LinkedIn and hosts a weekly Ask Me Anything session. But we have 2 sessions coming up with him in September. First one is September 9th, which is a Tuesday. This is more of a general legal cannabis overview. So if you wanted to learn, again, general stuff like we mentioned today, but really in particular to the legalities of cannabis, Jeffrey will go through that information and do a short Q&A at the end. But September 23rd is fully an Ask Me Anything. We will be sending out a Google form via our newsletters for people to sign up if they're interested. And in that form, we will have you ask the questions you want to get answered. So this is 1 full hour of straight Q&A. So if there's anything you've been wondering, but some of the sessions haven't been able to provide you with the right answer, that Ask Me Anything is your time to really get more information, ask those questions in advance, so Jeffrey will answer them in that hour-long session. This is our QR code for our September 9th session, which again is more of that general legal overview and then short Q&A. We will be sending out a Google form via email newsletters probably in the next few weeks for the September 23rd Ask Me Anything. Keon can also toss the link, which he already did, awesome, in the chat for this event, if that's easier for you. So you have the QR code as well as this Eventbrite link. Same thing, but you can register on the Eventbrite. Okay. I know we only have a few minutes left. Again, I'm happy to stay on for another 5 to 10 minutes since I know we have a couple questions in the chat. So let's go ahead and go through those.
Yeah, I'm going through them right now. Jessica, I see you asked about how do I check, and we just went over that. Hopefully you've seen that information. That's just on the website, cannabisnyc.gov, where you can get that proximity map. And then let's see here, as an environmental consultant, will I need to license? No, you do not need a license to consult with cannabis businesses. What about e-commerce? E-commerce are not allowed for the cannabis industry because e-commerce, are you trying to deliver cannabis products? You cannot. Now, if you're trying to sell cannabis through a website platform, you can do that if you have a license of a cannabis license. And you can do that with medical or you can do that with a retail license. So that's the only way you can sell any cannabis products online. You cannot ship any cannabis products, and it has to stay in the New York State line. So you can't go out of state and send anything out or deliver. The slides will be sent to you guys. I know we wish you could love. Let's see here. Stuff. Disability. So if you're just strictly disabled, unfortunately, that doesn't qualify as a C applicant. I wish it did, but unfortunately, it does not. Uh, you need a license to sell white labeling products. That's correct. That is the Type 3 branding license. That is white labeling license. That's the license that is available now, Sandra. You do need that license, and you can apply for that right away. If the processor Type 3 branding license can sell online, or is it must be restricted? So the the processor Type 3 branding license, you cannot directly sell online with that license. But if I have the processor Type 3 license, and then I create my brand, I get it, package it, and then I create a agreement with a dispensary or a retail, and they're selling the products online, then technically, yes, your product will be sold online, but you cannot individually sell your white labeling product online. You will need a retail dispensary to be able to put that on the shelves.
What I'll add here, so something to really know about the cannabis industry and the licenses in general is that the production and the retail side are separate. They cannot be put together. So if you're on the side of creating the product at all, whether it's cultivating, processing, or the Type 3 branding license, which is also in the processor realm, you cannot be a part of the retail side. Retail is one thing separate on its own, and then processing, creating the plant, and creating the product is separate.
Exactly.
Separate from that.
Only license that can do all that is the micro business.
But that's only in a limited space.
Yeah, limited.
And then for the Type 3 branding license, what you could do is you could have a website that shows a product and says these are the retail stores you can find them at. That's totally okay, directing them to the stores that hold your product, but you yourself can't be selling the product on that website.
Yeah. Thank you. Yep. And then you have, can this benefit someone in the December's queue waiting for a micro business? David, this is informative information, so hopefully it benefited you. But your application will be reviewed in January of 2026. And the Jamel funding for adjacent businesses that are not directly touching the plant. So that's a really great question because that is touchy. I think I was dealing with someone that's in that type of space. You can receive funding. So, for instance, I know you guys see like those bongs or those things that are sold in smoke shops. That is kind of in that category. So they will be listed under that tobacco type of product, and you can receive funding in that nature. So long as you're not touching it, long as it doesn't have any cannabis name on it or anything in that nature, then yes, you can receive some type of funding. Which I would love to have I think I have had a conversation with you, Jamel. I think we did go up with something. I would love to connect with you later and see exactly where you are at as far as receiving funding for your business idea. And then let's see the name. Let's see. And please, if you have any questions and you want to have the floor, please raise your hand. We can give you the floor.
And also, if you don't have any questions, feel free to jump off.
Yeah.
I see some questions in the Q&A and that just came in. So financial resources directly for Type 3 branding license. Honestly, again, financing for cannabis businesses is hard, especially if you're a startup. That's the case for any type of funding for any business. If you're a pre-startup, they really have nothing to go off to give you the funding. I would say your best bet with Type 3 branding license is qualifying for SEE in some way and having a 50% discount. That's the most likely type of financial assistance you can get there. In terms of actually getting a loan to help pay for the license, I'm not really sure if anything like that would exist.
Yeah, but loan to pay for a license, if you're looking for a business loan and you already have the license, it is possible for you to receive funding because you are literally just a brand. So it's just how you word the application. You have to be very strategic on how you go about applying. But that's another conversation for as far as one-on-one. I see Latifa, she has a question.
And I know a lot of people are interested in a one-on-one, which is awesome. We will actually be sending out an email by the end of today with our calendar links. So keep an eye out for that. It'll come from either me or Keon. So we'll send our calendar link, schedule a time that works for you. That's going to be the best way to get connected. Again, keep an eye out on your email. Calendar link will come, and then you can schedule one-on-one that way.
Definitely. I'm going to give Latifah the floor really quick. Uh, the floor is yours.
Okay, yes. Hello, everyone, and thank you so much.
No problem.
Okay, so my question is, what are the consequences of making any products with infusions, like cooking it, and possibly, just selling it to people in your community or people who are interested in what you make?
Yeah, I get it. So you're saying like food, correct? Like
Yeah, food, edibles,
yeah. So
oil.
that's tough because that is not a license yet for that because that is like FDA and
Ah,
things of that nature. How much you're putting in, all that good stuff. So it's
oh,
not.
I know how to do that. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
there with that already. I just made an infusion of some oil with 7 grams last night. And 14, 14 ounces of coconut oil with my MTC oil. I don't mean to tell you all of that. I'm just basically saying that I'm interested in cooking.
Yeah.
Cooking, infusions, like you said, sodas, oil, cooking oil. Some people want to do it themselves. Some
Yeah, of
people
course.
like this morning I had the warm water with the tablespoon of vinegar, tablespoon of cayenne, and then I added a tablespoon of my infused oil. And sure enough, I tested it and I drank it at 9 a.m. and I started to feel it at 10:30. So yes, it varies with edibles. But yes, let me let you answer because I'm
No, definitely, yeah, definitely. That is something. That is not the processor 3. That's more the processor 2, and that is currently not available. That will possibly be reopening. But if you want to enter that space of the cannabis where you're extracting from the plant and you're using that THC to, create edibles, gummies, and tea in that nature, that's really the processor type 2. So you may have to wait a little bit of that as well, but continue what you're doing, and hopefully when that license is available, you can be ready to apply.
And I will say food in particular versus something like a cannabis edible vape type of extracted good is actually not legal technically. So that's something that, if you were to make a full-on meal that was infused with THC, it is not regulated. So that's something to keep in mind. Hey, if you're doing it in your kitchen and you're doing it with your friends, that's one thing. It's more so if you were trying to make a business out of it,
it's currently not
top of mind that technically right now they haven't really legalized that space or regulated that space at all.
Yes. Oh, that's interesting. So that's because if they said, Miss, we're gonna need you to come in. You've been making biscuits, weed biscuits. What am I gonna do? They gonna give me time? I don't think so. But that's why I was trying to find out, if because I'm almost certain. Because it come like people are standing at my walls like they can't wait for me to make the weed. They can't wait for me to make the gummies. I have people in offices and in businesses that's actually been waiting for me to make my products for over 2 years now. So it's not like this would be me just stepping out naked. These are people waiting, people in high places waiting for products. That's why I'm trying to figure out how does this go. But like you said, it's an open space. It's not legal, but it's not illegal. But I don't know. So
you just have to wait for the licensing. That's all. That's all for you. You're just in the waiting game right now.
Okay.
Okay. And Delta has more information on this. I would say that they're a good team to connect with as well. Lucas definitely knows a lot more about more of those kind of gray area spaces with food related cannabis. So I would say get connected with one of us when we send out our email with our calendar link. Make sure to schedule so that we can get you connected with Lucas to talk more about it. I do want to make sure we cut this off by 12:10. So let's go through some of the ones in the chat. And if you have anything beyond this, definitely schedule time with us. You will get an email from us within the next few hours today. But I saw something about transporting cannabis from growing dispensary requirements. So this would be more of a distributor license. It's also not available right now. That's mainly transporting from a processor to a retail store. So that's also waiting game. And then I saw a nonprofit LLC apply for a license. I believe if you're a nonprofit LLC, you should still be able to apply for a license.
Correct.
That might require, though, talking to an attorney to really get the full details there. So, Carmen, I would say get connected with us. We can get you connected with Jeffrey Hoffman, who really understands the legal cannabis space. He's an attorney for that. So he can provide a lot more accurate details there. Okay. Okay, so I know we're 10 minutes over. Thank you for all of you who have stuck around. Thank you, Latifa, for being brave enough to share your personal story with the whole team here. But again, Kiana and I will be sending out an email with not only the slides that we went through today, also our calendar link so that you can schedule time with us. Be on the lookout. It'll be the email that you registered for the Eventbrite today. We really, really appreciate you all showing up and your active engagement today. Hopefully you found it useful, found some good information. And with that, we are going to close out the session. We will be hosting more in the future, like our Jeffrey Hoffman next month. So that's another opportunity to really get an Ask Me Anything Q&A, especially with an attorney who knows this really the ins and outs of the legal space.
Definitely looking to see you guys again, and enjoy your day. Have a good one.
Have a good day. Bye-bye.